Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to a 2v2 of my community. Recently I made a video where I asked you guys to give me your best games so I can do a commentary on them on this channel, give you guys more content, so it's a win-win scenario right there. As you guys know, well, you might actually not know, I am a PhD student in the field of molecular genetics, so time is a rarity in my line of work, but I still want to pump out content every single day. So if you do have replays that you want to send over to me, do so by following the instructions in the video link, or in the video linked down below in the description. So today we have Plentykill and Hoip, and Hottentotten and Weisbrus. Now, if you're wondering about this name, it actually checks out. That means a white-breasted negrita, which is a bird that has a rather waxbill-like appearance, a black cap, and tail contrast with a brown back and wings and white underpants. I did my research, that name checks out, so everything is fine. Let's go over to the red side and quickly just go over the unit composition here. So Hotten is taking this right side here, so Foxtrot. He has two Mi-24Ds, he has a Vidra, a Recon, a Command WD-43, pretty cheap command, good to do because it is Conquest. But this gets really heated really quick. I've only been looking through the first 5 minutes of the game and it looks insane. We have 80 gems in Vidra 2s, and we have some infantry in BMP or BVP 2s. Now I think he's playing as either like the Czechs or something Eastern Bloc. We'll have to check that. I think it's actually East German mechanized. I could be wrong, but we'll check that out. He also has two helicopters going left together with a Vidra Recon. Looks like they just got two FOBs here as well. Now Weisbrust is taking the middle, and he has a lot of infantry. Set at 85, and he has a lot of FJBs as well here to play with in that middle sector. Now if you go over to Plentykill, Plentykill is playing with a Blue Dragon. So he has a lot of KEF 4050s with grenade launchers, the autocannons, Nano and Shikijis here, which are really good infantry killers. He has some mortars, which I like to see. Looks like he's leaving back Mitsubishi, and on the right side he has some Hachikai Shikis, Nanasan Shikis, more KF-40s, and all that good stuff. I think he's actually, yeah, he's Blue Dragon. Now on the left side we have Hayes moving a Lynx 3 together with a Gazelle. Quite an expensive beginning there, that's 165 points. A lot of Aslavs and Saxons loaded with SAS and Commandos, and he is playing as the Commonwealth. I think he's playing basic Commonwealth? I'm guessing motorized. Yeah, that looks like motorized. Now let's go over to neutral. We immediately have these two Mi-24Ds. Now that is going to be quite easy picking for the Lynx 3, because the enemy does not have any anti-air with them, and that actually collapses two of the helicopters with two shots, and the third one goes down to the third missile. Man, that was expensive. I don't think Hotten expected that to happen. People don't usually use AA helis on this left flank. It's mainly used on the right flank if they want to really push this down. Now Hotten does get infantry in there, some Specialaufklären and LSDR, good combo, and that is actually quite a smart thing. So Hotten took the flanks and Weisbrust is going into the middle. Now we have a laser coming up on the left side to engage that Lynx 3, and it absolutely claps it and the Gazelle. So that's 165 points down the drain there. Now we're about to see a showdown here between Weisbrust and Plentykill. These KF-40s with the 25mm, and the Nanion Shikijis are about to go nuts. Especially Onotki get destroyed. He does move these slightly too close for comfort, I would say, before he starts unloading the infantry. He does get them out, 30 Sochangsu, unload and start engaging these guys. Now Weisbrust does a really good thing and moves some fire support into the flank here. Now let's move over to the left side. Hassel is making a daring move here with SAS, a daring raid, 40 SAS together with some commandos that got bombed to crap, and some commandos in the back. And we have some more Commando 90s going into the forest to secure this. And Hotten is doing his best to try to contain this by moving in more Mi-24s, loaded with infantry. Unfortunately, the SAS will take care of that, no problem. And there goes another, like, 90 points or so. Now the Hachi Nanashikis, a 30mm, really accurate gun for a 30mm autocannon. Does quite well against these helicopters. Manages to actually take one out. Now on the right side, Plenty and Houghton are just in a standstill. Plenty is not really pushing on that right flank. Plenty is helping or pushing in the middle, while Hashoip, I'm just gonna call him Hassel, while Hassel is pushing this left flank here. So Weisbrust is holding the middle here on his own, and Houghton has really been focusing now to stabilize this left flank. And he has kind of lost pretty much the entire sector to Hassel there. Now, if that doesn't scream overwhelming firepower, I don't know what does. We got these KEF 4050s, Nanayon Shikijis, holding down that forest. They kill most of the infantry in here, mainly due to the fire here. But some VDVs and a ZTZ-85, 2 with his 19 AP, take out one of them. And it forces Plenty to briefly fall back. SU-24 comes in for a bombing run right on top of those guys. So you can definitely tell that these guys are not slowing down. But unfortunately for him, Plenty moved back his units. Now on the left side, Houghton does not give up. He is moving more infantry into the forest, and that is a good thing to do. Because if you want to hold Foxtrot, you gotta have this flank, and preferably this flank here, so that you can pincer move Foxtrot, you can have AA here to support, and then maybe make a push. 2 Tornado F3s are spawned in by Hassel, which is followed up by a Peace Pheasant to try to take out the ZTZ-85, gets hit by the Nanayon Shiki, he's already worried, and gets clapped by the Peace Pheasant, with one of the 4 anti-tank Mavericks actually hitting. So I'm guessing this guy isn't on the highest veterancy ever. Let's actually keep it like this to make it a bit easier here. So we got red on the right side, blue on the left side. That'll make it maybe a bit more organized here for you. But I might still move around. Actually, let's just keep this. So on the left side, SAS have the town locked down. Commandos have been moving up to the edge of the forest to try to basically ambush anything that tries to get in. Another Mi-24 gets destroyed by the SAS. That is such a painful loss, time and time again. This is really where Blue Dragon really shines. The amount of cheap armor that has really good infantry killing weapons on it, together with decent anti-tank weapons as well. 10 rounds per minute, 17 AP at this range. If you have like 4 of these Nanayon Shikijis and the enemy has a BU, you will actually do quite a lot of damage to it. If it's at this range, that is. So using cheap tanks in a CQC environment is a really good idea. Like that is 80 points, this is 60 points. So Plentiful will be able to pump out more tanks on average. The gun tank does not manage to kill it, but the 2 Tornado F3s just absolutely destroyed it. So I think these guys are on veteran training. They're really, really good. 8,400 meters range and 50% accuracy. With the veterancy, that's like almost a guaranteed hit. I say that, but my RNG with planes is really bad, so maybe I shouldn't speak. Now going back to the left side, Houghton is really a champ for, one, not giving up. So I think these are actually, you know, dedicated conquest gamers that just go on till the end, which is how it should be going. So he is still trying to secure that left flank. ZTZ-85, no match. Just absolutely destroys that poor personnel carrier. Now I missed that MiG-29 bombing run. Right on top of the SAS with the thermobaric bombs. Really good bomber. Not only does it have HE, but because it's thermobaric, it also leaves napalm to basically clean up the rest or start panicking whatever was not hit. It's also a good way to deny enemies to get into these buildings. Now on the right side, again, not much moving up. KF-16C, Block 52D, which is my favorite unit, claps the HQ-61 here, unfortunately. And speaking of AA, that is the only AA that I'm seeing so far besides the gun tank. But Plentiful has been spawning in more and more after seeing some of those Su-24s. Now if you go into Plentiful's point of view here, there isn't really much that he can see. He does have recon up on the front line, but because there are so many trees and like things that break the line of sight, for instance, he won't be really able to see anything back here. Recon on the ground on this map is quite rough and not the best way to spend points, I would say. Now Matschützen, 31 up. Never mind, they just got wasted. Matschützen trying to make it into the town with fire support from the BMPs. Not doing too bad here. MiG-29 comes in with his 4 thermobaric bombs. The SAS managed to hit it once, and he actually makes it out. That is a lucky dude. Maybe because one of them was worried. Now meanwhile on the right side, I like to see this. We have T-72s, basic T-72s with 4 HE. That's going to wreck these SAS units. Now those commandos did survive for a little bit, but with those bombs, that basically opens up this entire flank of the town. So these Matschützen move through the fire, together with the BMPs, to try to secure this flank next, to cut off this supply route into the town. They're going to be up against the Bison with, I believe, commandos. Highlander 90s, okay. Which are regular trained, versus the Matschützen, which are shock trained. So we'll see how that goes in a minute. We have 80 gems firing at the T-55, Proletaries versus Sochang-Su, but I am more interested in this fight here. We got 10 versus 11, but mortars, that is bad. Oh, that is painful. It forces him to move up after the Highlanders, which results in them taking more damage. Now we have an F-111C coming in. That is... yeah. That is a big delete button. Now you can definitely sense that the red team is becoming more and more, not really desperate, but more aggressive, especially with these bombing runs on manpads. Well, it does miss twice, and because they fired, they exposed themselves, and that means the T-72s can clap the rest of the SAS. And there goes that. ATGM from these triple ferret. Jesus Christ. Takes out the recon. Luckily for Houghton, misses all 3 of its ATGMs. But these units are wonderful. Yikes. It didn't miss that time, and actually got both of them. The ferrets are really good recon units with very good optics, medium stealth, small size, and 22 AP swing fires. And as you can see, they're pretty quick. Now another seed plane comes in and destroys that other HQ-61 there, which is quite unfortunate for Weiswurst. Tatras, empty Tatras being sacrificed to the Eugen systems there. Commando 90s, together with the Aslavs, absolutely melt these Czech shock units. Another MiG-29 comes in to bomb right on top of the ferrets, and he actually moved him back into that forest after exposing himself and moving back. That kind of sounds wrong, but that's what he did. Now, it's getting heated in the middle. No pun, actually pun intended. We got some proletaries getting repaired. There's some body parts in these supply trucks there. Factorias, I really don't see these guys enough. getting some cheeky side shots on these transports. So Changsu trying to make it forward. But Weiswurst is, or Brust, is definitely not giving up. And he just floods this place with more Eastern Bloc units. Is that Eastern Bloc? Hold up. No, that is Red Dragon. My bad, guys. Hold up. He just has a mix of everything. He has Soviets, Chinese. What nation is that? Something Baltic. I'm not quite sure. I'm bad with some flags. He just went red for, I guess, mechanized? No, motorized? Quite an interesting deck code. Or a deck selection. I kind of want that deck code. Now on the left we have more Machutsen, 90s. Trying to make it into the town still with BMPs giving some fire support. More bombs being unloaded here by the MiG-29 thermobarics, and Hayes almost moved into it. That was lucky. If he got in there, he would get quite a bit of panic going on. Now in terms of conquest points, it's 115 versus 12. It is not looking great for blue team. Or I should say for red team. They're down quite a bit. In terms of map control, they also lack basically any of the major sectors. So it's going to be interesting. BMP-1s being used really well against these commandos, and the Machutsen in the town with their LMGs, which are CQC by the way, are absolutely melting those units. We do see some mortar fire from Hayes to try to stun these guys enough, but that's a little bit too late. Maybe a smoke attack would have been better. Speaking of attack, F-111C just says nope and unleashes its girthy bombs right on top of the Machutsen, and there is no escaping from that. Don't even try. When you see it spawn in, just let go of your mouse and keyboard. Now we have some counter artillery right on top of the mortars here from Hayes. Is it going to take out any of them? Well, it got them damaged really well. Those are all the shells though. So at least that'll keep him busy for a little bit. F4EJ Kai and a Block 52D come in. The Ito is radar, or not radar, so it is not going to have a problem here. Actually gets a hit on the block. More MiG-29 spawning in. Thermobaric bombs on the town, taking out the Milan. And we have another one going in for the commandos. And we have a fighter in the back here just circling. So air power is definitely being used extensively, as it should. Because the only AA that red team has seen here was a gun tank. And other than that, there is really no big AA piece that I'm seeing. It's just like Spags and some Manpads. Quite interesting. Then again though, on this map, having ASFs instead of AA is quite a good idea. It's not a huge map. If you just circle your ASFs like in the back here, you're gonna do fine. Now we do have an OT recon here, trying to make it past. All of these Bisons are empty. They do have a 7.62 GPMG. So they will be able to lay down quite a bit of fire here. These poor Motostrelakis trying to make it to that forest. Getting wrecked by the Highlanders. And the SASs are once again rearmed, repaired, refitted. They do get shots off, but fortunately for red team, they miss everything. And the Highlanders are sent to ashes. Another MiG-29 comes in. Bombs that unit into oblivion. Man, these SAS are not having a good time. They're elite training, but they're missing every single stinger. Motostrelakis somehow are making it into the town. I think Hayes does not want to move up to the edge here to enable any possible fire support from red team. So that is a good strategy, I would say. Now over here we still have the Factoria somehow hitting every single shot with its 45 accuracy, base accuracy. It is elite. After killing so many things, it is now elite. So, Jesus. I kind of missed that. A bomber came in. I think that's an F-111C. Killed the Motostreliki, but got shot down. And another... Man. Another one came in and got shot down. Finally, SAS returns the favor and takes out the MiG-29 after so many attempts. Now, that is a fighter, so red team still does have the bombers. BMP-2s unloading Machutes and Motostrelikis. I should say Motostrelikis on the front line to try to make it into that town, and these BMPs will now be used as fire support. Recon unit makes it to that forest after those Highlanders were wrecked. Sea Harrier comes in to try to kill any radar AA. Fortunately for red, is out of ammo. The SAS fire again at the MiG, but miss one of the two shots. Thermobaric bombs nicely cut off both the town and the line of sight from these SASs to this region, so that enables red team to move in. Now, that ATGM is pissing off blue team quite a bit, I believe. So we do have some mortars raining down from these 81mm K281s. Really nice unit. Gets fire down on the enemy really quick. But because of the caliber, it doesn't really do much splash damage. Or doesn't have a big area of effect. Now BMP-2s try to get some ATGMs landing on these Leopard AS-1s, which are decent tanks. It's 35 points. They're fast firing, so it's mainly infantry cover. MiG-23 BN comes in to try to take it out, but loses line of sight. Yeah, I don't think that guy is going to survive here. Blue team spawning in 2 tornadoes. And, yeah. That is definitely not going to end well. Isn't that cool? This game is still one of the most beautiful strategy games I have ever played. Wow. They are moving up against the MiG-29. One of the missiles hits. The other one from the other tornado snipes it out of the skies. Jeez. That was a big loss for red team there. Thermobaric bombs right on top of the SAS once again, killing 7 of them. Now we have finally FJBs in the town. So there's some manpad action going on. The red mortars are on 1 HP. And we just need 1 shell to hit. But red has some RNG going on here. And there's no more rounds. And this is being fired from these 203mm artillery guns. Really good guns. Now on the left side, can red finally win the sector? SAS were forced to move out of the buildings due to the fire. We have a MiG-23 BN finally getting some shots off on units, but missing the tanks due to lack of line of sight or lack of vision. But fortunately does make it out because those tornadoes are rearming and repairing. Now the middle is kind of a standstill right now. Right side, not much going on. There's also quite a lack of recon on these hills. One of them could have easily flanked around and gotten like either an infantry command or a recon behind their lines. MiG-29 coming in with more thermobaric bombs. Right on top of the supplies, it seems. Now, some of you might think that is a waste. In Conquest, taking out the enemy supplies is a really good strategy. Now, MiG-23 BN comes in, this 100-point aircraft. Did quite well, took out 2 of those tanks, which equals 70 points. F-15 being spawned in by plenty, together with a Peace Pheasant to get air superiority going on here. We have White and Houghton now double teaming this sector. Finally getting some better infantry in here. Commandos will be taken out by the Motostreliki. We have EDB-90s in the back. We have OT-62s here coming in with more special forces, I believe. With more Motostreliki, never mind. But together with all those machine guns, they're gonna have a pretty good time. F-15 and the MiG are brawling. F-15 got hit once already by the long-range missiles there. Returns the favor. and evacs. MiG-23BN coming in to try to take out the Leopard. Absolutely demolishes that thing. And kills one of these. One of the Aslavs. I'm actually surprised by the range of that thing. Now F-15 is still out, another one bought by Plenty. Luckily for Red, it fires everything at the other plane and gets shot down by the Nuwa. And that is unlucky there. Thermobaric bombs missing their target. Hayes moving into the forest. Houghton having a quad stack of Motostreliki together with MI8s is going to make this job a lot easier. Although the SAS, luckily for Red, missing one shot, hitting the second one. But probably not going to survive those bombs. That is, yeah, not going so good. So there's about 16 minutes left in the game, and in terms of income, it is now neutral. So I am wondering how this is going to end. More BMPs with infantry being rushed into the forest, because what Red is seeing right now is quite a lot of activity in the forest here. So there's definitely more reason to do things like this. MiG-29 coming in, MI8s bombing the crap out of that, and a MiG-29 demolishing the SAS. Another one being spawned in, right on top of the commandos. And that is a big yikes. And with that one move, they just cleaned up that entire forest. 2 seaplanes, SU-22s, these are the 90-point ones with 5 kilometer range. One of them clapping, never mind. One of them clapping, never mind. There we go, the second one clapping a tractor rapier. And also clapping that other one. F4 EJ Kai tries to come in and take out some of these planes. Gets hit once by the MiG. And gets hit another time by the MiG. Now that was an amazing gameplay right there. The MiG though does get hit by the Tornado F3 once. Will the second shot hit? Second shot misses. But the Sidewinders, together with this Tornado here, managed to take it out. Now if you guys are new to the game, or you know, even if you're experienced, that was a really good strategy. 2 seaplanes is a really good strategy. It would have even worked better if he spaced them out a little bit more, because when the first one was turning away, Hayes turned on the rapiers, because he thought that is the only seaplane, the rest is fighters or bombers. But he was wrong. Now, Plenty comes in with a Peace Pheasant, and kills that ZTZ, dealing another blow to the enemy's fire support in the middle. MiG-29 comes in, and I think will hit... Yep, okay. Took out quite a few of the commandos and panicked literally all of them. The fire, as you can see, is doing a lot of damage. Man, that is actually a surprising amount of damage right there. It took out 2 squads. It took out like a solid 10 dudes. Now, Plenty is moving in some Rangers. If we just look into his line of sight, he can finally spot some units. The Nanny on Shikiji can do some damage. The Pater Branchy that the enemy has does have the L-Racks, which have of really good accuracy and range. So he will have to watch out with these tanks here. Rangers are stopping here. He did definitely see the Lee Ren, I think, but maybe he forgot to engage. A Drad comes in with Mavericks and its rockets, does not manage to kill it, and the Manpads finish off after the gun tank kind of damages it a little bit. Now Afro EJs together with Tornadoes. That's not gonna end well for the MiG here. And oh, there we go. Wow, these guys are quite experienced, yet they missed most of those shots. Now the Nuwa tries to get some hits on him, misses twice unfortunately, and that's a doorbell. All right, another MiG-29 comes in. Now count the amount of times I said MiG-29. Poor SAS. Jeez. If I used this many planes against that many SAS, I would lose literally everything, including things that I didn't spawn in. So both Houghton and, well, it's mostly Houghton here. Weisbrus does help, mainly with planes. They are trying to remove the enemy from the last bastion of defense here. SC-24 comes in, destroys 2 of the leopards, and panics. The other 2 MI8s are acting as recon at the moment because they are out of ammo. SC-22 M4s come in and take out those tracked rapiers. The enemy learns and buys Stormers next, because those are non-radar. Another MiG-29 comes in, gets hit once, and gets destroyed by the F-15J. But he does get really good bombs off. Now the BMP-2s here trying to make some moves with the Conqueror's M. MiG-23BM comes in instead to finish the job, destroys 1 of the leopards, and probably gets shot down by the KF-16C Block 52D. Really well played by both teams there. And this is an example of why Conquest is better in some cases. People can just go nuts and actually fight to win, you know, in terms of territory, without doing any weird spam moves with militia or anything like that. They are making calculated decisions. Okay, as I say that, Hayes is gun-running infantry in the field with 2 expensive fighters. Anyways, with those mortar shots, the enemy does take over. I should say enemy. The red team does take over Foxtrot. The Leopard AS1 is battling the 2 remaining Motostrelakis and does lose against them. Now Hayes does have 20 commandos in the forest, but as soon as he pops out with those anywhere near here, they're just gonna get bombed. In the middle, we have Plenty trying to make some moves. 2 Cobras moving in. These are really, really nice. They fire the what are these, 70 millimeters? Yeah, 70 millimeter rockets. They have 2 pods each. That is an insane amount. That's 42 rockets, right? No, 52 rockets right there per helicopter. Really, really powerful. K1 moving out in the open against the T-55. He does get hit, but only takes 1 damage, I believe, after every shot. Moves into the forest to try to get some better cover. Now, New Zealand SAS did make it into the tip of Foxtrot, but they are being pushed out by the VDV and the BMPs. ASLAV's coming in to give some fire support with the 50 cals, doing an awful lot of damage, but they are being taken out by the Pederenci. Rockets coming in on the K1, almost killing it. Su-22 is circling around, gets a missile off on the gun tank, and finally takes some revenge over there. Unfortunately, he does get wrecked by the F-15 and the manpads. There's quite a lot of cheap tanks being used now, and this is a good strategy. The enemy needs to immediately try to have overwhelming fire support to push red out. Now, red team is gaining. They have +1. Will blue team be able to hold? Or maybe even take back Foxtrot? I don't know if at this speed they will be able to take it. I am not quite sure. Now the Hawks are turned off. A seaplane does come in and probably will be wrecked by these Hawks, which are now going to turn on. No? That is lucky. He's probably, yep, going to survive. Plentiful forgot to turn on the Hawks again. Mi-24s destroying the poor Rardens with its big girthy 57mm rockets, unloading LSTR there. MiG-29 comes in with his thermobaric bombs once again, right on top of this cluster of armor. Does he survive? He does survive. And he destroys and stuns quite a bit of units. Now this is an exciting match right here. Stormer taking out the Mi-24. Which is definitely not a fun time. For that helicopter at least. Now the LSTRs, together with all of this reinforcement, should be able to hold Foxtrot indefinitely. Especially since the red team is using a lot of bombs and fire support to basically try to stop any advance from blue team when it's out in the open. So it's a really good reaction. Every time blue does something, red is ready. They either got really good infantry nearby or really good bombs and fighters standing by. Now the Commandosi, they were not on attack move, so they were not getting these mortars taken care of. But now they are finally picking off blue team's fire support on this left side. There goes that last mortar. MI8 bullying the poor Rardens over here. Now Hayes does still have these commandos here. I'm not quite sure what he's planning with these. He could easily, really quickly get into the town, but he's just gonna get bombed. So I would have probably moved them back to use them elsewhere. Now 20 SAS, together with all that fire support, will have no problem taking out those two squads of Commandosi. On the right side, I do have this Alouette being moved around. So I'm wondering if they're planning to do a push on the right side in the last 6 minutes. The points are 243 for blue and 86, 87 for red team. I'm kind of vouching for, I'm hoping for red to make a comeback. They're doing really good here. Thermobaric bombs miss the infantry, but not to worry. We have VDVs 90s moving up instead, and 18 of these versus, well, now 17 of these will be quite a close match, I think. But the VDVs simply have better weapon loadout in general, because they also have that LMG. And they're just deleting those units. Another seaplane comes in, but the Hawks are still turned off. He does manage to get the gun tank that he's being spawned in. There we go. So that is well played by him. If he gets hit by something else, he is done for, and he does get clapped by the Stormer. But at least he got a gun tank. Now on the right side, the Alouette is still alive. On the base, I completely missed this. We have two Mi-24s chilling at base, taking out the enemy artillery and the command, pushing it to +2. I completely missed this. That is a move by Houghton that I did not expect. But as I said in the beginning, I was hoping for one of them to make a flank to try to get the enemy command, and Houghton did. He does get wrecked by the 20mm Vulcans and then by the Stormer, but he does spot this command. Does he kill it with? Oh my god, that would have been so. That would have been. That would have been sick if he got it with the crashing helicopter. Jeez. Now Plenty moves out his command because he probably got spotted by the recon here. This command is rushing back to try to cap Charlie again, and this command is moving left to cap this zone because this is 2 points versus just having it here is only 1 point. The enemy, I keep saying, the red team is gaining by +5. That is massive. And with only 3 minutes and 40 seconds left, that could be decisive here. Now imagine if red team also had a helicopter with a command infantry. Now that command needs to stop ASAP, but it keeps moving on. The enemy keeps gaining. They're almost at 200 here. Just stop it. There we go. And they cap Charlie with that. This command is moving back to base as well. I think blue team is kind of in a panic mode right now. And that is a command that could have been used in alpha, so it completely messed up here. And I can already imagine the screams on Discord. Now where will this command move? He has to go into alpha, otherwise the enemy will gain and win. +4. They've narrowed it down to 23 points. 19 points. And yep, he made a big mistake here and is moving right side. Wow, what a match and what a turn of events. will red team actually be victorious here? Is there another command coming out? There is none. The Mitsubishi moves back into Bravo. Does not stop, and red team is now actually leading by 21 points. 25 points. And that number keeps going up and up. There's no command being spawned in by blue team. I think they only had one card of commands each. And they lost one over there, they lost one at base. So it's, yeah, it's quite a disastrous turnout for blue team, but what a match. I want to applaud both of these teams and each and every member. LSCR is moving in, trying to just get some experience before the war ends, basically. They definitely get some experience in the form of these 70mm rockets. But man, that was really cool to witness. A minute left here. Really good match. We saw a lot of really good strategy. They definitely played better than I would have. I definitely want to see this deck from Weisbrust. He had a really interesting set of units. I saw basically everything from red team being used at some point. Going from T-72s to, you know, ZTZ-85s. It was really cool to see. Blue team does try to make some pushes happen on the right side, but with only 20 seconds left. Yeah. Also, red team mortars the command and actually takes over the right zone once again. What a match. Really well played by both teams here in terms of overall points. Plenty went positive. Hayes went basically neutral, I would say, so they kind of had equal kills and losses. On the red team, Hutton kind of went neutral as well, so they kind of all went really neutral. Or, well, they went positive most of the cases, really. So in terms of their gameplay, although they played Conquest, they played it smart. They were being quite well thought through with their actions, so they weren't just yeeting units at the enemy and losing a lot of points. I mean, even in terms of destruction, this would have been a really close match, so definitely props to these guys. That was a ton of fun. I hope you guys enjoyed this match. If you do want to give your replays to me so I can make these kind of videos, please do check out the link down below in the description. It'll explain exactly how you need to do it. Once again, guys, really well played. I hope you're watching. If you are, drop a comment down below, because I gotta get these deck codes. Anyways, that was it. Hope you enjoyed. I'll see you guys back in the next one.